The full horror of Japan's earthquake and tsunami disaster is now becoming evident. The country's reputation for calm efficiency is being sorely tested as it confronts a growing humanitarian nightmare and a nuclear emergency. Today, Japan's woes deepened with another explosion at the crippled Fukushima nuclear plant, a tsunami scare that proved to be a false alarm, the reported discovery of 2,000 bodies in Miyagi Prefecture, the introduction of water, fuel and electricity rationing, and the need to find food and shelter for up to 1 million homeless. Japan's Prime Minister says the crisis is the country's worst since the Second World War. The ABC's North Asia correspondent Mark Willesee begins our coverage from Hachinohe at the northern end of the tsunami zone.
The Japanese knew the pressure was building inside reactor number 3, and today it proved too much. The government says the explosion was caused by a build-up of hydrogen, but that the reactor was not breached.
There was a loud sound and white smoke billowed out, and there is a possibility that hydrogen explosion took place.
Releases of radioactive steam from the Fukushima nuclear plant could go on for weeks, even months. Thousands are being checked for exposure. It surged in at 60 kilometres an hour. This is the moment the tsunami obliterated the seaside town of Miyako. This new footage reveals the raw power of millions upon millions of tonnes of water. The wave poured over a seawall and across a road. Residents could only watch as cars and boats were swept inland. Coastal defences built by Japan to protect itself from giant waves were no match for this colossal tsunami. Further south, not even the deepest concrete breakwater in the world could save the town of Kamaishi, the surge smashing everything in its path in just a few minutes. Today, 2,000 bodies were found on 2 beaches in hard-hit Miyagi Prefecture, an horrific sight which testifies to the tsunami's lethal and indiscriminate power. But one survivor has turned up in the most unlikely of places. Hiromitsu Shinkawa was given up for dead, but the 60-year-old clung to the roof of his house as it was sucked out to sea. But his rescue 15 kilometres offshore is still filled with tragedy. When the tsunami hit, Shinkawa had to watch as his wife was pulled from his grasp and swept away. Elsewhere, there were other rescues. People stranded on a roof of a school saw something moving inside a car. Trapped in this sea of mud, 3 elderly Japanese were pulled out after 20 hours without food or water. But as the days pass, it's just hundreds of bodies turning up in the mud and debris. This is one of the worst-hit towns, Minami Sanriku, where 10,000 are missing. This is it before the tsunami struck. This is it now. A wasteland which has entombed entire families, whole communities.
For hundreds of kilometres along Japan's east coast, there's nothing but death and devastation. Here at Hachinohe, a giant tsunami, about 5 metres we are told, crashed over the breakwater and into the town. And as you can see, it picked up this giant fishing trawler and just dumped it on the dock. Yet another sign of this tsunami's enormous power. Mark Willesee, ABC News, Hachinohe.
And Mark Willesee filed this update just a short time ago.
Well, there have been yet more tsunami warnings this afternoon. We've just come down from higher ground after scrambling up there, being told that there was a tsunami heading this way that was about 3 to 5 metres high. Thankfully, that proved to be incorrect. But further south from here at Hachinohe, there are major problems. We're hearing some reports trickling out that Kuji and Nodamura, 2 towns further south from here, have been absolutely devastated. There is a belief that possibly thousands have been wiped inland and that there are many, many dead. But few people can get in there to confirm that. We might try and do that in the next couple of days and see what we find. But at this stage, all these communities, very few bits of information are coming out.
Mark Willesee reporting there.